cool is this? So there's a leopard right here. This is so cool. Well done, guinea fowl. Now, is it Kuchava with her baby, maybe? I don't know, but it's definitely Kuchava. That's who it is. And she's running along, big full belly. So I wonder if maybe there is some sort of carcass here. Or maybe the little cub is around. There she is running down, and you can hear the guinea fowl are going crazy. So she's a little bit kind of nervous, but she's got a big belly on her, and I wonder if her cub is not somewhere in this section. How cool is that? So we managed to find Kuchava here, which is very, very cool. You can hear the guinea fowls are going crazy. She does have a big belly, so I think maybe, just maybe, she's actually got a carcass here somewhere. Now, I'm just trying to go slowly because she's a little bit shy, and I'm not surprised. We kind of came upon her quite quickly over the top of this ridge. There's no real other way to see a leopard from here. She's just down below here, VM watching us, so I don't want to stress her too much. I'm going to try and get a situation where we can at least just get a view of her. So, VM, can you see her through the bush there? Just some spots, unfortunately, that are through there. There we go. There the spots are. And so she's moving slowly now. The impalas are alarm calling as well. I don't think the impalas can see her, but they are alarm calling at the moment. I wonder if maybe the little cub is here, or another leopard could also be around. But our perseverance in trying to find a leopard is paying off. The problem is where she's going. She's going to go into an area where it's going to be super difficult for us to follow and to be able to keep up with her. And I'm a little nervous of kind of pushing her if the cub is around here, because this is her first cub that she's had. This particular litter will be her first one. And I know that the other day she was very shy and reclusive with that cub and was moving away quite quickly. So I don't really want to stress her out too much. And her kind of behavior already this morning is one of a fairly unrelaxed individual. But let's see. Right, now I'm going to try and get into a position where I can maybe see her a little bit better. We're going to try and have a look from this angle over here and see where she maybe is. And while we do that, let's send you back across to Ali with that beetle. Well, we've managed to get ourselves into a great spot. She's come into a bit of shade to rest now, and she's kind of just looking around. And there was a few impalas that were alarm calling. There's a squirrel that's alarm calling at her, and so I think she's gotten into the shade now just to take it a little easy and hopefully to take a bit of a break. And then maybe, just maybe, if we've got any luck whatsoever left in the tank for a last minute little leopard cub, imagine that if she starts to call and that little leopard cub comes out. She's nice and full though. She's got lots of food in her tummy and lots of milk, which means that she still does have the cub because she's producing a lot of milk and she's got the suckle marks. And we know that there's one cub because one person has actually seen her cub. But this area that we're in is an ideal place for her to have a cub hiding away. It's very thick and deep drainage. It's not easy to find or see leopards in this area, and we just got very lucky that one guinea fowl out of that whole group was making a noise, because there was more guinea fowl there was impalas, and it took one guinea fowl to just make that alarm call to give away her presence. If it wasn't for that, we would never ever have been able to see her. So super cool that we did. And I looked briefly where we first spotted her. I didn't see a carcass, but I think there must be one somewhere. Mia, she does have stunning eyes. She takes after her mom. Her mom is Thandi, and so the two of them are absolutely beautiful individuals, and they look quite similar. They've got a sort of certain look to them, and they both have incredible eyes. But I love Kuchava. She's a very cool leopard, and I'm sure Taylor is going to be bouncing off the walls because Taylor comes back to work this afternoon, and for her favorite leopard to be here is just absolutely insane. So I'm sure Taylor is going to be heading straight to this area this afternoon to try and see if she can see Kuchava, because I know she absolutely loves Kuchava, and hopefully, like I say, she'll call the little baby out, because if the little cub is here, that's just going to be even better. Now, you'll hear a lot of chirping in the background, and that's because there's two squirrels that are shouting at poor Kuchava. They're sitting right here, and so you can hear them going absolutely crazy. So they're obviously doing that because they've seen the leopard, and so eventually they'll get tired of it and they'll move off, especially if she lies down and starts to sleep. Then the squirrels leave her alone. But you can see they're quite panicked about this situation at the moment, and so the longer that Kuchava sits there, the more they'll shout at her for now. As soon as she probably drops her head, then they'll leave her alone and carry on and go somewhere else. The problem for these squirrels is they're a little bit stuck. They can't really actually go too far. There's not really a bridge of trees to get them out of there, so they're going to have to sit tight in those trees for a while this leopard sits quietly. One grand, you're asking if she's not as used to cars as other leopards. So no, it's not that. I mean, she's sitting, at the moment, she's not even 10 meters from me, and you can see she's relaxed now. The thing is with her is that, unfortunately, a lot of her time is spent on her own. She hangs around in areas that are very dense, very thick, difficult for people to get to, and so there's not as much time spent with her as maybe some of the other leopards around here. That coupled with the fact that it's her first litter that she's just had, and so that's made her very elusive. She's trying to keep this little cub safe, she's trying to hide it, and moms that are their first time moms often are like this. They often are a little bit more shy, and they try and keep their little cubs as hidden as possible because it's a big event, it's the first time she's getting a little cub, and she's trying to keep it as safe as possible. And if she's anything like her mom, she's probably very good at kind of keeping it safe, and so that's why maybe she's a little bit skittish. The other thing is that also, remember, we came upon her very suddenly, so it's not a situation where normally where you see a leopard, you'll spot it from far, the leopard spots you, and you kind of come together, and that's okay. She's yawning a bit. I think she might get up and move, but in this situation, we kind of came over a rise, and she was right below us, right on top of her, and maybe she just got a little fright that we were there, and that's why, with the alarm calling and us and everything kind of happening, she just trotted off. But now, she's absolutely fine. I mean, you can see she's very relaxed. The fact that she's not even looking at us indicates that she doesn't really mind too much a little grooming going on. I don't think she's going to be sitting for too much longer. I think these squirrels are making too much noise, and she's probably not enjoying that very much at all. Michelle, you say she looks like her mom. She does, doesn't she? You can tell it comes from that lineage, and so this is another part of the Karula lineage, if you can believe it. It's amazing how many leopards in this area that we see that kind of come from the Karula lineage, but very, very, very special to find her. I haven't seen Kuchava since, well, in a long time, before she even had this little cub, so it's been almost 3 months since I last saw her. And it's funny enough, the last time I saw her was very early in her pregnancy, and she was scent marking a lot on Chitwa, and I kind of thought maybe she might be pregnant at that time, and it turned out that we were right, and I think Noel had a sighting of her with very, very heavy, and then obviously she gave birth, and now she's been seen with that cub once before. But very, very cool leopard. I thoroughly enjoy her, and the fact that she's here on Chitwa is great news for us, because hopefully she's going to bring that cub into this area, and we'll get lots and lots of sightings of her going forward. It's very special that she's kind of behind the dam wall, and if she's comfortable enough to sit here, and if the cub is around in these areas, then she's comfortable enough to kind of bring it here. That only bodes well for us as, a interested group of leopard crazy people that like to see these things. And yes, we do. So we've managed to keep up with Kuchava. She's taken us through some horrible stuff, and I don't even want to know what the front of Rusty looks like at the moment, but it was pretty good that we managed to at least keep up with her up until this point. And now she's in a little drainage section, nice cool sand, and she's having a bit of a grooming session, getting rid of maybe some of the burrs and things that she picked up on the way. We went back to the area where she came from, and we saw that there was no sign of a kill. So I think she maybe was just stalking those impalas until that guinea fowl spotted her, and then obviously our approach made her a little bit more kind of wary of what was going on. But she's now found herself a little spot, and I wouldn't be surprised. This is where she's going to sleep for a large portion of the day. It's a perfect spot for a leopard. It's a deep gully that she's in. There's nice, cool sand that is there, lots of shade, nice and thick, so there's not going to be too many animals that should be able to see her, and she can really spend the time kind of relaxing. She's probably worn out at this stage after months and weeks of looking after a little one, so she's going to be probably enjoying a bit of a break. She's got a massive tummy on her. You can see she's breathing quite fast, so she's definitely eaten last night, I would say, because that tummy is big. Maybe she was finishing up the last of a kill, and that's why she's left that area. I'm not quite sure, but She definitely has eaten a lot, and that's good because it's going to keep her nice and healthy. And she looks in fantastic condition. She doesn't have too many ticks on her. She's kind of looking as good as mom could look, and so really quite impressed with her. And she's obviously doing quite well so far. If she's still producing milk, she's still got this little one, and considering the amount of male leopards that are around at the moment, she definitely seems to have done quite well. Now, I'm just going to try and go back a little bit just so we can get her face. Now, VM's going to have to tell me because there's another tree on my left side. There we go. Hello, girl. Sorry. You've got your same eyes as your mother when you look at somebody. You have those eyes of, you just stay where you are. I don't want you to come any closer. She has a serious stare on her, just like Tundi does. Tundi's also got this amazing kind of eye that looks at you, and you just know that's where you must stop. Shelly and Ivy, Kuchava is about 4 years old now, so I think about 4 years old. So still a very young leopardess, and a huge prospect for our futures here on Djuma, because she's going to be the next kind of queen that's going to come out of this area. We don't have any other younger females that we are seeing regularly. She's the youngest of the females that we see regularly on the sort of eastern side of our traverse. Obviously, Shadulu is now coming in on the western side, and those are the two kind of future females for this area at the moment. They're the two that are just coming. Well, Shadulu's just coming to her first season of breeding. She's mated, but she hasn't had a cub yet. Kuchava's just had her first one. So, you know, they're both young females that hopefully will set up an area around here. Now, you must remember that if she does set up and she stays in these sections, we have probably at least, 8-9 years of Kuchava and Shadulu around if all goes well. So they really are leopards that are going to be a huge part of the story going forward, and that's why it's important that they do well, and important that she has these genes that she's got in the form of her grandmother Karula and her mother in Tundi that are successful females that will hopefully raise lots of cubs. Tony Two Toes, we don't 100% know who the father of the cub is. It's always very difficult because especially with Kuchava, because she spends a lot of time away from Djuma, and she could easily have mated with quarantine. But as far as what we saw, she only mated with Tingana. So Tingana theoretically should be the father of that cub. And they mated on Djuma, and we had them all the way deep into Djuma mating. And so theoretically it would be him, but like I say, she might have sneaked in a mating session with quarantine without us knowing about it, and that maybe means that it could be either one of those two, but definitely not any other leopards besides those two. But she's getting ready for a little nap. I think she's positioned herself perfectly. You can see she's kind of sprawled out now, and she's got herself in the perfect little leopard sleepy spot. If I was a leopard, this is where I would sleep as well. There's not water, not even 50 meters away from where she is. She's got thickets that if prey animals do come here, she's got an opportunity where she can hunt. Also nice and shady, so like I say, good spot that she's chosen, that's for sure. Not good for vehicles. I don't think any vehicle besides these Land Rovers would be able to get even into a position to find her where she is right now. PT Watcher, you're asking how old her cub is. We don't know for sure. Unfortunately, no one's really followed up and tried to kind of really sort of see what's going on and see exactly what's happening with her and her cub. But we think around 2 months. That's where we think her cubs are at that age, or her cub is at that age. And so I think, that's where how old they are. But without seeing them, it's also very difficult for for me to know exactly how old they are. But 2 months would be a roughly estimate and about that age. So I would say anywhere between 6 and 9 weeks, that would be my call as to how old those cubs are. So still very small and little thing, and very cute. The one photo that I have seen of it is incredibly cute. So hopefully we will get to see it soon. There's a good opportunity this afternoon if she's hanging around here. This is an ideal spot for for cubs to be raised, and I know that Tandi had a number of cubs in here and used to hide them in here often, and I'm sure Kuchava has a little one, often spent time inside here. Interestingly enough, another leopard has just been found, not more than about 800 meters from where we are. So just at Chitwa Dam, there's another leopard that's there. So I don't know who that leopard is. Maybe the male leopard we were tracking all morning that we said might come our way is apparently on the way out. So we might sneak another leopard in before the end of show. We might give Kuchava a little bit of a break and then start heading up towards that individual and just see who it is. And so we can sign off with not one, but two leopards would be quite nice. I'm just curious as to know who it is that's sitting up there. I imagine it's Tingana, but I'm not 100% sure the person that found it doesn't know the leopards at all. And so just